Hey everyone, welcome to part 13 of this trophy and achievement guide for the original Final Fantasy VII. We're just leaving the Mount Nebo region and we're going to hop aboard the Highwind and fly over toward Junon because we want to go and get another huge materia from the underwater reactor. So let's hop aboard that Highwind and then start flying east. We're going to go right over the Corel Desert by the Gold Saucer and we're going to go across the ocean, and before long we're going to see Junon. We just want to park that airship right in the grassy region outside of Junon and then run inside. Let's keep on running straight down the path here until we get to the Shinra guard who's over by this big door. If we talk to him, he'll allow us to go up into the upper Junon part for a measly 10 gil. So I think we can afford that. We'll pay him off and then we'll hop aboard the elevator and then take that up into the upper level. Once we're inside, we'll just run over and use the control panel to start raising ourselves up into the upper level. And once we get to the top, we'll see that there's a door with a green light shining out of it. Let's run into that green light and we'll be in the hallway where we were preparing to do the parade for the inauguration of President Rufus Shinra. We'll keep running down the path toward the camera and eventually we'll get a scene. I may be mistaken, but doesn't it feel like we're missing something? Well, yeah, we're missing the giant sister ray cannon that used to be attached to Junon. Let's keep running down the path, and before we go into the next screen, I want to stop and go into this door with a dog next to it. Once we get inside, we're going to turn and go up the stairs. There's a couple items that we can grab up here. Number one, we can grab this mind source and then the 135th soldier. We don't need that for anything, but you can pick it up if you want to. We'll also grab the luck source off the floor and then we'll go up the next staircase. Up here we can run around and grab the power source, and on the other side of the room we can grab a guard source. Now as we go back downstairs, there is another path that you can take once you get to the bottom. If you run over toward the right here around the corner, you can talk to what looks like a Shinra trooper and he'll take you into the basement and you can get a free enemy skill materia. I'm not going to grab that because I'm not going to use any more than just 2 enemy skill materias. So now we're leaving the building and then heading toward the camera to transition into a new screen. We'll keep running along the path here until we get into this back hallway area. Once we get here, we'll turn left and run down for a short scene. Alright, let's see how hard you trained. Attention, charge! Hey, that's the underwater reactor! Come back! And after they all run off, we're going to follow them by running down toward the bottom of the screen, and then we're going to turn and go through the door at the top. Once we're here, we'll step inside for a short scene in a battle. How about whoever stays alive gets to take her out? Alright, you're on. But what if both of us... Whoa, don't even talk about that. Here's a fight against some pretty basic Shinra troopers. These guys will go down with just 1 aqua lung if you're looking to finish them very quickly. I'm going to use the limit breaks that I have stored up so far. I'm going to use boost jump with Sid, and I'm also going to use beat rush with Tifa. And those are good to keep using because eventually that will teach you new limit breaks of that tier. And you'll see that at the end of this battle, I have used just enough of those beat rushes so that I'm able to get a new limit break with Tifa called Somersault. So that's good. We're going to do a lot more work with limit breaks in the future. Even at the end of this video, we're going to be focusing on getting quite a few of them. So let's keep on going from here. We'll go down the elevator with this little cutscene, and when we get to the bottom, we're going to exit the elevator and then have a short scene with some more Shinra troopers attacking us. Okay, back to work, back to work. Yeah, I'm sleepy. For Junon! Here we have another fight against two of those Shinra troopers. They can be taken out with just one aqua lung if you really want to get rid of them quickly, but I'm going to show you that they actually have a pretty powerful attack item if you want to try to steal that from them. So I'll frog song this guy just so that he can't do anything. He's in toad status and is asleep. I'm going to try to steal an item from him called an 8-inch cannon, and when you use that in battle, it's pretty similar to a grenade or a Molotov that we used before, only this one is significantly more powerful. So go ahead, steal that if you want to. All of the enemies that wear that blue uniform down here in this underwater reactor part, they do have that item that you can steal from them. So go ahead, grab some of those if you want to. Otherwise, we're going to keep going. It's not necessary, but it is very powerful, and you can do some good damage against the boss if you steal some of those 8-inch cannons. We'll continue along down the path. It's all just a very linear passageway, and then eventually you're going to get to the end of all of these pathways. I get into a fight here against an enemy called Guard System. These guys are pretty interesting because even though they're mechanical, they do not take any damage from lightning-based attacks, so avoid that. And what you want to do is to attack the machine in the back. It will spawn either a machine gun like this or a rocket launcher, and it actually can help you gain limits pretty quickly. You see it just attacked all my party members, and everyone basically gained a whole bar of their limit gauge. So that's good if you want to get your limits up before the next fight. Otherwise, we're just going to keep on going here. We'll use the switch to go down into the bottom part of the reactor. This is similar to when we were coming up the pathway from lower Junon to upper Junon, and it's the same thing, only now in reverse. So now that we're at the bottom, let's go out of here, and then we're going to continue on down the path. Once again, a very linear hallway all the way down to the end, and then we're going to go into the next section here. As we run around, we're going to go over toward the right and then transition into a new screen. When you get here, we want to make a quick alteration to our materia. We want to go into Tifa's materia and remove the counter attack materia because we do not want her to kill the next enemy. Instead, we need to morph an enemy down here. So make sure that someone has that morph materia equipped. I think Sid's got it for me. And eventually you're going to find this ghost ship. Now what's interesting is that it is susceptible to level 4 suicide, so I would strongly recommend you do that just to knock it down into critical health. But you'll see that when we attack with the morph command, we will do incredibly little damage with it. You do have to get the finishing blow to be that morph attack to turn this enemy into an item that we need. So I can only do about 55 damage with Sid doing that. So if you want to attack a couple times, you can do that. You can hit him with another level 4 suicide, and that will take him down into super duper critical health, and then you should be able to take him out very easily with one more of those morphs. So just to make sure that you don't kill this guy, you do want to morph him into an item that we'll be using later on to get a new materia. So here you can see he spun around and disappeared, and he changed into a guidebook, and that's something that we will use in a future part. Let's keep on going now. You might want to re-equip that counterattack materia, but we're going to then proceed on into the next section, and we're going to find more enemies that are standing between us and our huge materia. So now that we're all set here, let's go ahead and put everyone back into the back row and then move into the next room straight ahead of us. Once we're in this room, we're going to go around to the far side. There's a pink looking button on the far wall. We're going to go ahead and interact with it. The door will close, and we're going to go down deeper into the bottom of the ocean. Eventually, the door will open back up, and that's our cue to go ahead and leave this room. And now that we're here, we just have to run all the way down this long catwalk. You can get into a fight with a couple enemies along the way. I'm just going to run away from all the fights though, because we don't really need to do any combat here. So let's just take off, and we're going to make our way to the far end of this catwalk. It's kind of a cool perspective in the background because you can see a later stage where we're going to be running through, but you're looking at it from a new perspective. There's the two submarines in the back, a gray one and a red one, and we'll be seeing those very soon. So here's one more enemy that we don't need to worry about. Let's just go ahead and get out of here before he does any damage to us. And we'll run all the way to the end of the catwalk and out the door. Now, I would recommend that you save the game here because we do have a couple forced fights that we have to get through and then a boss after that. So we're going to move on and we're going to go quickly and interact with this guard who recognizes us as Cloud. If you don't fight this guy right away by himself, then if you go around him and interact with 2 more guards, you'll actually get surrounded and you'll have to fight all 3 guards at the same time, but you'll be at a disadvantage. So instead, we're going to talk to this guy first and defeat him by himself. We can just take him out very quickly with Tifa using her death blow and added cut materia. And then we're going to run over here and get into a fight with the 2 other guards. Once again, we can take them out very quickly with just something like an aqua lung or have Tifa beat them into submission. So it doesn't take too long to get through this, and then we're going to keep moving on. Alright, after that battle, now we're going to keep on moving. We have to go into the next room, which is adjacent to the one that we're in right now, and then we just have to run forward and the 2 guards here will attack. These guys are a little bit different than the ones that we fought before. These guys are called Underwater MP. They've only got 1,000 HP, so they're pretty easy to dispatch, but they are pretty trigger happy. They're just going to start spraying bullets all over the place, and we'll take a little bit of damage from all of them. But if you want to, you can steal an item from them called the Shinra Alpha. It is a piece of armor. It's honestly not that great though, so I'm not going to bother stealing it, but this is a good place to get a new and fairly unique piece of armor. So go ahead, steal that Shinra Alpha if you want to, otherwise just finish them off and let's keep on going. And now we'll go through the door and into the next screen. From here we're going to follow the catwalk around until we have another short cutscene. The huge materia. They're gonna take it on that submarine. That's what you think. Now let's go over toward the right until we get into a new screen where we'll get a short scene. Did we make it? Before we talk to Reno, let's get set up for the next boss fight. We want to make sure that everyone is healed up and has good MP values. And once that's done, we're going to go ahead and look at the equipment and the materia. So for Cloud, his equipment is the Yoshiyuki, the Imperial Guard, and the Ribbon to protect against all status ailments. Tifa has the Power Soul, Bolt Armlet, and Curse Ring, so she has very strong attacks. And Sid has the Javelin, the Edenko, and the other ribbon that we have. Let's look at the materia real quick. Cloud has Enemy Skill and Comet, and then on his armor he has Gravity, All, another All, and Lightning, Elemental, and Fire. As far as Tifa goes, she's got the counterattack materia, Luck Plus, Cover, and Long Range. And then on her armor, she has Added Cut paired with Death Blow, and she has Added Effect with Odin. And finally, let's look at Sid. He's got Time paired with All. He also has another All with Restore, Neo Bahamut, and then on his armor, he has the Enemy Skill materia, Manipulate, Magic Plus, Chocobo Lure, Morph, and Steal. We don't have to put anything into that last slot though. I think we've got a good variety of materia as it is. So once we're ready, let's go talk to Reno. What are you doing? Help load. Cloud? You know I don't work cheap. Looks like we barely made it. Either give it to us or else. Which is it gonna be? Unfortunately, I don't have time to deal with you. My priority is the huge Materia. Reno takes off running, leaving us in a fight against carry armor. This guy can be a royal pain, but I'll show you a good way to beat him. We're going to begin the battle by casting Big Guard. That will not only protect us against incoming attacks, which can be pretty powerful, but also will get that haste effect, which is really important because speed is very important here. We're going to have Tifa use her Death Blow added cut combo against one of his arms, and Sid is going to summon Neo Bahamut. Now the carry armor boss is comprised of 3 parts. He's got a right arm, a left arm, and a main body. The right arm and left arm each have 10,000 HP, and we want to eliminate those as quickly as possible because he will use those arms to grab a party member, take them out of combat, and also hurt them whenever he gets attacked. But if we can destroy those arms, they're gone for good. He cannot regenerate them. Once those arms are destroyed, then we want to take out the main body, which has 24,000 HP. But before we attack that, we need to use Magic Hammer 2 times against the main body. That will prevent it from using its very powerful Lapis laser attack. Once you use Magic Hammer 2 times, he will have no more MP to attack you with, and then once those arms are destroyed, he literally cannot do anything to damage you. Let's keep having Tifa use her Death Blow added cut to do lots of damage to those arms, and then we can also use things like Magic Breath to do a lot of damage. This guy is weak to lightning damage, and Magic Breath does use that as one of its magic types. As powerful as Magic Breath is, it uses up a lot of MP, so it might be more economical for you to use Trine instead. It still uses that lightning-based damage, and it just uses up a lot less MP, so you can use it a lot more. Now, once the arms are destroyed and the main body has run out of skill power, he cannot do anything to harm us anymore, so we can just have Tifa use her normal attacks, keep using Trine or Magic Breath. Here's an 8-inch cannon, the thing that we stole, and it did almost 1900 damage with that one attack. So this guy is really helpless now. We just have to keep whittling away at his 24,000 HP, but he can't do anything to us. The fight is free from here on out, and we can complete this without taking a single point of damage from a normally very vicious boss that can end a lot of speed runs. If one of my party members were to get grabbed, I would still go after those arms, try to eliminate them as quickly as possible. Even if the carry armor does end up hurting and even killing one of your party members that it's grabbed, that's okay. As soon as the arm is destroyed, that character is good to go. You can resurrect them and the carry armor won't be able to hurt you anymore. So go ahead and just keep focusing on those arms first and using Magic Hammer to eliminate the threat. Then you can revive any party member that happened to be killed along the way. And so now that that fight's over, let's go ahead and get our reward. We get 5,700 experience, 425 AP, 4,000 gil, and God's Hand, which is a new weapon for Tifa that we're not going to use. The Submarine. We have to go after it. Hold on to your horses. Let's take it from them. We're going to start by running over toward the left side because there's a treasure chest here that we can open up to grab a battle trumpet, a new weapon for Kate Sith. Now we're going to go back toward the right and then go down the path ahead of us. There is a branch off to the left, but you can ignore that. Just keep running farther away from the camera until the screen transitions. Now this is very important. You want to run past the stairs all the way to the left because there's going to be a treasure chest here that you can open up, and that will give you the key item Leviathan scales. It's very important for later on. Now let's go back toward the right. We can open up this treasure chest to grab a Scimitar. This is a new weapon for Sid. Let's take a second to look at it. It has a kind of unique property in that when you equip it, you actually get triple AP growth, but there's only 2 materia slots for that. So that's really good if you want to level up your materia. Well, now what we're going to do is we're going to make sure that we're all healed up because we definitely want to survive the next fight, especially after that carry armor battle. So now let's run up here and talk to these guys. You! Here we have another battle against these basic Shinra troopers. We can just take them out with one Aqua Lung, or Tifa can finish them off no problem. So let's just go ahead and get rid of these guys as quickly as possible, and then we can move on. Something that I find kind of interesting is that in these fights you do not do the special victory pose when you're done. The screen just fades to black and you move on from here. So now after that, let's keep going up. We'll talk to these guys. You're not taking over this ship. And we get into a fight with yet again another group of 2 of these blue Shinra troopers. So just like before, we're going to take them out as quickly as possible. Now we'll keep going up and we'll actually board the submarine and head on inside of it. You want the sub? Just try and take it. Sir, maybe we shouldn't piss them off. This fight's a little bit different from the other ones for a couple reasons. Number 1, we fight 3 enemies instead of 2, and they attack us from both sides. This is a little bit more dangerous because if the enemy attacks while we're not looking at them, or they attack our back, they're going to do increased damage. So it is good to take out one side first. Just cast Aqua Lung on the side with 2 enemies and have Tifa attack the side with 1 enemy. The other difference of this fight is that the music is different. It's the normal music for a battle, and when this battle is over, you actually do the special victory pose. Well, now that that's done, we're going to go ahead and go forward just a little bit because we're going to go over to the save point, and I do recommend using the save point because we have a mini game coming up, and if you fail this mini game somehow, you're actually locked out of getting one of the huge Materias. So definitely make a save here, and then we're going to move on into the cockpit of the sub so that we'll get a special scene, and then we can take part in the mini game. No, this is terrible. We don't have much time left. I don't want to die. There's still so much more I've got to do. I never even got to do my special victory dance in battle. Alright, then make this your first victory. Go on, show 'em. Yes, sir. Remember your last training. Begin. Yes, sir! I'm back, and now I got no regrets. Attack! The choice is completely yours whether you want to fight them or to take them prisoner. I think I saw the stat where it's like 80% of players choose to take them prisoner, but it doesn't really matter at all for the story. I'm going to choose to fight them only because you get the little scene where you can see that it's the captain and the 2 Shinra troopers who helped Cloud get ready for Rufus's parade, and they are still obsessing about that special pose when you defeat them in battle. So just kind of a funny little scene. You also get the reward for beating them in terms of getting the gil and the AP, the experience, all that stuff. So it's better to fight them than to not fight them, in my opinion. But once again, this one fight isn't going to make any difference. You can do whatever your heart leads you to do. And here you can see we do get that reward for getting the experience and the AP, all that good stuff. And once that's over, the storyline will continue normally from here. Someone, please. I'm sorry, I can't take it anymore. The lack of space, the shaking, the roar of the engine. What are we going to do? We stole a submarine, but can't pilot it. Hunk of junk, just gotta do this. See? Now you take over. Hey, you're right. I do feel a little better driving. No sweat, just leave everything to me. Let's go over and we're going to talk to the instruction manual on the left side. Well, now what? We'll read the manual. Submarine Operation Manual Beginner's Edition. Button placements. You can press up to descend, left and right to rotate that way, and down to ascend. You press triangle to speed up, square to fire, and X to speed down. Mission orders. Presently on the ocean floor near Junon, a red leader submarine carrying huge materia is being escorted by covert Shinra submarine units. Furthermore, it has been confirmed that several mines have been dispersed onto the ocean floor. The ocean floor can only be monitored with Shinra's sonar radar screen. Enemy subs can only be detected within the sonar area. Get in front of the detected enemy sub and lock on. Press square to fire the torpedo. The mines are found on the radar screen at the top of the indicators. The mines inflict great damage, so be careful. Objective: sink the red leader submarine carrying the huge materia. Time limit 10 minutes. Advice: 1. Get the enemy submarine in front of you. 2. Concentrate attack on the red leader submarine. 3. If you lose track of the enemy, press R1 and use your radar. So now to begin the minigame, we want to actually talk to the pilot seat here, and then we're going to choose to sit in the seat. Everything seems set. We're going to start the mission. This switch. Main screen on. Change the screen mode. So here you can see that we are the blue submarine and we have to attack that red submarine. What we want to do is to get right behind it. Luckily it spawns pretty much right in front of us, so we're just going to stay right behind it, adjusting our speed a little bit with triangle and X just to stay right here. Keep spamming that square button, you'll launch torpedoes right into the back of it and the mission will be complete. You get 10 minutes to do that and it should take you about 10 to 15 seconds to complete that whole mission. And once you're done, then the screen will transition back and you'll see that you've received the Shinra sub. Whew, we did it. The huge materia should be at the bottom of the sea by now. Let's continue the search. All Shinra submarine units, do you read? All Shinra submarine units, do you read? Must be from Shinra. Report number 2. Number 2? I saw that written at the dock. They must mean this sub. Alright, I'll do it. This is Shinra number 2. Everything's normal. Roger. Your next mission is... return to Junon dock. We will transport the huge materia from the airport. Those without other assignments will report for guard duty. That is all. Over and out. Junon Airport. We should make it if we hurry. Forget about the huge materia for now. We're climbing. The airport? No sweat. The submarine is on autopilot because we will automatically raise ourselves up to the surface and then go and dock next to Junon. We get a short tutorial that says you can press X to get on the submarine or to move forward, and you can press circle to get off, to submerge or float. You can dock anywhere in a space that looks like this, the little cutout with the rocky area there. Let's take a moment just to heal ourselves and to save the game, and then we're going to go do some underwater exploration. So I'm going to use a tent just to make sure everyone's healthy, and then save the game, and then we're going to go over and hit X next to the submarine to get on, and we're going to take it out to sea. Our first destination is going to be on the other side of the ocean, so let's start heading toward the west until we get right by the other continent. Then we're going to turn toward the right or start heading north. We're going to go around this little piece of land that's jutting out, and when you go around here, you're going to circle it around toward the left and then start heading basically directly south. And what you want to do is to go down toward the end of this area. When you get close by, go ahead and hit circle to submerge, and then you'll be right by this plane. We're going to go down inside of it and you'll get a short scene. This is the Shinra's Gelnika type airplane. I wonder why it went down here. Let's go left until you get by the save point, and then we're going to go up into the next room. What is this place? Must be some kind of research establishment because there's a Mako generator. There are 4 items we want to get in this room. Let's go over toward the right, opening up the treasure chest to get an escort guard. And now we're going to go down the stairs into the far right corner where we can grab the double cup materia. On the way over toward the left side, we do get into a fight against one of the enemies down here. They are all incredibly powerful and can inflict very nasty status ailments to you, like this abnormal breath, which will confuse you. I would highly recommend just running away from these enemies because we definitely don't want to get killed here. If Tifa gets confused, she will easily kill our party members. In the top left corner, we can grab the Conformer, which is going to be Tifa's best weapon in the game, and then we'll go back up by where we get the escort guard, then loop around on the catwalks, and on the far right side here, we can open up this treasure chest to get a mega elixir. We're all done with the 4 items in this room. Let's head on out, and we're going to grab the treasure chest in the bottom left corner of this screen, and we can get Heaven's Cloud. This is a new weapon for Cloud, and it's actually quite a bit better than what we currently have equipped. So let's switch out the Yoshiyuki for the Heaven's Cloud. We get a lot more materia slots and a lot more attack power when we do this. Now let's go over to the materia menu, and we're going to equip that double cup materia that allows our normal attacks to hit twice, which is, twice as powerful as what we're used to, and it also raises our dexterity by 2 points. We're going to stop here, save the game really quick, make sure that you're all healed up too, because we have a boss fight that can be a little bit tricky in just a moment. So once you're all saved, let's head over toward the left to go through the door into the next room, and we'll have a short scene before our battle. Turks? Again? We just seem to keep running into each other lately. There were weapons and materia developed solely to destroy Sephiroth, but it was attacked by weapon and sunk to the bottom of the sea. I can't give you what's here. We'll take out Sephiroth. I guess this is our last meeting. I won't let you get in our way. You were put into a boss fight with both Reno and Rude at the same time. Reno is your primary target here. You want to get rid of him as quickly as possible for a couple reasons. Number 1, he has less HP than Rude does. Reno has 15,000, Rude has 20,000 HP. Reno can also do an attack called Neo-Turk Light. When it hits a character, it will confuse them, which is very bad for us. Luckily, we can get around that by having Cloud and Sid both having that ribbon on, but if that Neo-Turk Light hits Tifa, we're in big trouble. So focus on taking Reno down. You also want to steal the Tough Ring from him. This is a very good accessory that you can only get in limited situations, and this is one of them. But now that we stole the Tough Ring, it's open season on Reno. We want to eliminate him as quickly as possible. We will switch our focus to trying to steal from Rude now because we can get a new armor piece from him. Tifa did get confused thanks to that Neo-Turk Light. She took herself out, but that's okay. We can always resurrect her by using a Phoenix Down, and that actually will be a little bit beneficial for us as well, because as soon as she comes back from the dead, she'll be in critical health, and she'll also have her death sentence reapplied because she's still equipped with that curse ring accessory, which will put the death sentence status back on her. So right now the game is going to have her do 8 times the normal amount of damage. If you happen to use cross slash on Reno, he'll be paralyzed, and that will make the next death blow a guaranteed hit, and you'll take out well over half of his health with just one death blow added cut combo from Tifa. So once you get rid of all of 15,000 health from Reno, he'll take off running, and then it's just a fight with Rude, who at this point kind of bugs out, and he's not going to fight us anymore. He's just going to stand there the rest of the time. So make sure that you steal the Ziedrich from him, a really good piece of armor, and then just go to town attacking him with Tifa. You can see Cloud using that double cut, doing 2 attacks at the same time, and then we can have Sid heal our party members. This isn't so much to keep ourselves alive because Rude isn't going to attack us anymore. This is just getting ready for the fights after this one against the monsters who can actually do something bad to us. So let's just keep using our strongest attacks. We can use things like Magic Breath to do a good amount of damage to him, but honestly, Tifa can just use her turns and do the most damage without expending any MP at all. So it won't take too long before Reno and Rude both go down, and then they take off, and then that's going to be the end of the fight. So hopefully you steal both the Tough Ring and the Ziedrich from these guys. The good news is that even if this fight goes very poorly, you can just reload the save from a moment before and try again. You get 10,500 experience, 660 AP, and 9,000 gil for this boss fight. So Shinra's new secret weapon was on this airship. Let's go back into the previous hallway so that we can go to the save point just to lock in our progress. We also want to look at the different armors and accessories that we picked up recently. First up on the armor side, we have the Escort Guard, which is a man's armlet. Only male characters can equip it. It also nullifies lightning, earth, water, and poison elements. Not great defensive stats, but it's pretty good for blocking all that damage. And the Ziedrich decreases all elemental attacks by half, and it has great defensive stats, but it has no materia slots, so it's good for defense, not so good for materia growth. And finally, the Tough Ring raises our vitality and spirit by 50%. That's an accessory, but honestly the ribbon is better than what that is right now. We can use those later on to make a very defensive character, but there's no need to do that right now. We definitely want to be able to dodge very harmful status effects while we're here. We go down the hallway and we see that this must be the cargo room, and it's got a lot of things in it that we want. You can run forward to grab a mega elixir from the treasure chest, then we'll go all the way to the end of the walkway and over toward the right side. Here's a serpent, and this guy actually knows Aqua Lung, so if you're looking to add that spell onto another enemy skill materia, feel free to do that. Otherwise, just try to run away from it. You can level 4 suicide it though if you want to take care of it quickly. All the way on the right side, we can grab a Spirit Lance. That's a new weapon for Sid. It is a direct upgrade to the javelin that he currently has equipped. It does a lot more damage. It does lose one of the materia slots, however. That's not such a big deal because we do have a spare on our armor side. So go ahead, throw something on there, whatever you want to. Maybe an all materia to keep it leveling up, or you can throw a Neo Bahamut if you want to have a good summon that can go past the enemy's defense. Doesn't really matter though. Make sure that your health is staying topped up because the enemies here can take you down pretty quickly with their very powerful attacks. We'll keep going down the stairs to the lower area where we can get a few more items. Straight ahead of us is the Hades summon materia, so make sure you pick it up by the wrecked helicopter. Then go toward the bottom of the screen. On the left side, there's going to be the Outsider, which is the new weapon for Vincent. And on the right, kind of hidden at the bottom of the screen, is a Highwind. That is the item that you use to teach Sid his final limit break. So make sure you grab all of those things, and then we're going to head back up. Now let's backtrack to the entrance and get out of here. The enemies down here are a good source of those stat boosting items called things like Power Source or Mind Source, but you have to morph them into it in order to get that. A good way to do that is to use Yuffie's Conformer. That's the new weapon we got for her down here. All of these enemies you can put to sleep using Frog Song, and then you can hit them with laser to lower their health down, and then Yuffie's Conformer can morph at full power. It doesn't have that decrease in the attack damage, so you can safely and reliably use those things to take out these enemies and morph them into something useful. Well, now we're back in the sub and we're going to go to our next destination. We're going to go north until we can go right around this point, and once we circle around here, we can press circle to submerge and go down under the water so that we can find the next thing that we have to get to. Be careful of Emerald Weapon, who'll be hanging out down here. You do not want to run into him because you will die at this point. So instead, we're going to ignore him and just keep following the path around. If you hug that right wall, eventually you're going to see a red dot over here. That's actually that enemy red leader sub that we sunk a while ago. Let's go over and run into it. So this is the leader sub. Makes me sick just thinking about it. Huge materia recovered. No damage appears to have been sustained. Whew, that's good to hear. Received key item, huge materia. Alright, with another huge materia collected, we're going to start traveling north and go to another destination that we can get to only via the submarine. So once again, we're going to ignore Emerald Weapon and just start heading toward the north. You can either go underwater if you want to, or you can go above. It doesn't really matter. We're just going to keep going until we can pretty much go no further north. We're going to keep going past this trench in the ground, and we're going to stick over toward the left side for the most part, and we're going to see that there's a canyon under the water. We're going to go right into that, and we're going to stick off toward the right hand side. If you hug the right hand wall, eventually what you'll see is there's going to be an opening, and you'll be able to go through that, and there's going to be a special item waiting for us that we actually need for a story sequence later on. But if we go and do it now, we won't have to backtrack and get it later. So here's the item. Let's go ahead and ram into it to collect it. It seems like a key to somewhere. It seems really old. Analysis completed. Exact date of origin undetermined. Estimated to be several thousand years old. Several thousand years? Ancients? Received key item, key to ancients. Now what we're going to do is turn around and we're going to go back through this tunnel that we just went in, and now we're going to turn toward the left, and at this point we're going to stick toward the right hand side, and that will take us to our next destination. As we make our way around the corner, we'll see that there's a tunnel up ahead of us on the right hand side. This is kind of a lengthy tunnel, so just go through it all the way until you get to the far side of it. And as we make our way through, now would be an excellent time to hit that like button if you haven't done it already, and also to comment down below. Those things are small, but they really do help me out, so please do me a favor, hit that like button and also comment down below. If you're enjoying this video and you want to see more like it, make sure you hit that subscribe button so that you can stay up to date with all the rest of the episodes in this series. Now that we're through that tunnel, we're going to press the circle button to rise up, and then we're going to find this rocky area on the side where we can go next to press circle, and that will take us out of the submarine. We want to use the PHS command to bring Vincent into the party because we need him for this next section. You don't have to equip him with anything, just make sure he's in the party, and then run behind this waterfall for a scene when you walk into this room. Vincent. That voice, it can't be. Lucrecia. Vincent? Lucrecia, stay back! If she is happy, then I don't mind. I'm against it. Why experiment on humans? She and I are both scientists. After that, a child was born to Lucrecia. That child's name was Sephiroth. This body is the punishment that's been given to me. I was unable to stop Professor Gast and Hojo and Lucrecia. I was unable to stop them. All that I was able to do was watch. That is my punishment. Lucrecia, you're alive.
I wanted to disappear. I couldn't be with anyone. I wanted to die. But the Genova inside me wouldn't let me die. Lately, I dream a lot of Sephiroth, my dear, dear child. Ever since he was born, I never got to hold him. Not even once. You can't call me his mother. That is my sin. Back! Stay back! Vincent, won't you please tell me?
What?
If Sephiroth is still alive. I heard that he died 5 years ago, but I see him in my dreams so often. And I know that physically, like myself, he can't die so easily. Please, Vincent, tell me.
Lucrecia, Sephiroth is dead. After that scene, we're going to work on getting Vincent all of his limit breaks, and we'll get his ultimate weapon. So let's start by looking at the equip screen for him. For the weapon, we've got a couple choices. The Sniper CR has perfect accuracy, and the Outsider, which we just picked up in the Sunken Gelnika, has some good attack power. So I'll go with the Outsider. As far as the armor goes, we can equip basically whatever we want to. I'm going to give him the Ziedrich that we just stole from Rude, and then for the accessory, I'm going to give him the Tough Ring, which is the thing that we stole from Reno. So all of our new equipment that we got, let's go ahead and throw that on to Vincent. And then the only thing that we really need to equip for him right now, materia-wise, is going to be the enemy skill materia. We can grab that off of Cloud. We're just going to go to the arrange and exchange option, grab that enemy skill, and bring it down to Vincent. And that will be all that he really needs in order to get all of his limit breaks. We are going to make some modifications to that over time, but let's look at the couple different methods that we can use for getting all of his limit breaks. We're back in the submarine now, and we have to go all the way back to the port by Junon, and that's where the Highwind is waiting for us. It is kind of a long trip, so I'm speeding up this footage to 2 times the normal speed, just so you don't have to watch me go very slowly all the way back to Junon. I would recommend that you actually travel on the surface of the water, and that's because, number 1, you can see where you're going a lot easier, and number 2, you're not going to run into Emerald Weapon, who's lurking somewhere in the ocean. If you're on the top of the water like this, you'll never risk getting into a fight with him and getting wiped. Now let's get out of the submarine and into the Highwind. You'll notice that this continent looks a lot different between Junon and the Mithril Mines. Ever since Weapon emerged, it really did a number on this continent, but luckily some of the areas are still the same. If you want to head into the Mithril Mines, just like when we were leveling up all of Aerith's limit breaks, you can certainly go back into that room and fight all those enemies. You can also come out to this patch of forest here, running around here for a short time. We'll get into a fight with typically larger groups of enemies. Here's an example of one such fight. There's a group of 5 enemies. They're all very weak, and you can take them all out with just one match of magic. Your goal is to get 40 kills with Vincent in order to learn his next limit break. So that'll go pretty quickly if you fight groups of 5 enemies at a time. That means you'll only have to fight 8 groups of enemies like this in order to learn that next limit break. However, the reward for doing this is incredibly small. We get very little experience, very little AP, very little gil, so maybe it's not the most economical use of our time. We can fight enemies, get kills, and get higher rewards if we go to a different location. Let's get back on the Highwind, and we're going to fly south to the Medill area. When we're there, we can find groups of 3 or 4 enemies very consistently, and they also have crazy amounts of not only experience for us, but especially AP. So we definitely want to run around in this forest. It's toward the west of Medill, but just east of the Chocobo tracks in the plains area. And here's the group of enemies that we want. These headhunters have 2000 HP, which means that a character with even decent magic stats should be able to hit them all for enough damage with one Aqua Lung to take them all out. And as you'll see, for the reward for doing this, we get 2600 experience, 320 AP, and 4,000 gil. We're going to be leveling up our materia very quickly by doing all of these fights. Remember, we've got to get to 40 kills in order to get Vincent his next limit break. So let's keep running around the area, getting kills against those headhunters. You'll also encounter these enemies. These guys are called Crystallese. They only have 1500 HP, so they're not quite as tough as those headhunters. However, they have the very annoying habit of using sleep scales and putting your party members to sleep. This isn't such a big deal if you have a ribbon equipped on Vincent, because then you can just power right through that and aqua lung them to take them out too. I don't have that, however, so instead you can either try to take them out with one of your other characters or just run away. That's usually what I do against these guys. Just as soon as I see them, I run away because I'm more interested in taking out those groups of headhunters so that I get a better reward. These guys do give decent experience in AP, but honestly, the headhunters are just better worth your time and your MP so that you don't have to waste casting Aqua Lung on these guys. So go ahead and get your reward from these fights, and then we're going to continue on. Just keep running around here getting in fights with headhunters. Every once in a while you may be running low on MP, so you can run into Medeal. There's a couple things you can do. On the right hand side is going to be the item shop. It sells tents for 500 gil, which is pretty cheap compared to the 4,000 gil that we get per group of headhunters. And you can run over here to talk to the girl by the chocobo. She sells a variety of weapons and equipment, even some pretty good materia. So if you want to, you can go ahead and buy some of that stuff, but otherwise we're just going to head back out and keep up the grind. I did make some alterations to the materia on the team. Vincent still has enemy skill, but I also gave him cover. That's pretty good considering he's so defensive anyway with the Ziedrich and the Tough Ring that he can block for the other party members. I gave him counterattack, which retrospectively I probably wouldn't do because it only slows things down, but I'm also going to put on the other materia that I want to keep leveling up, like any all materia. I want to put Hades on there. I can also put things like the Contain and the Ultima spell. Those will boost up our magic stat even more, which would be really good in case Aqua Lung isn't quite doing enough damage. You can boost his stats that way a little bit. Tifa's Power Soul offers double AP growth, so I'm definitely going to give her all the all materias across her weapons so that those grow and they level up a whole lot faster. Luckily, we don't need Tifa to fight because Vincent's going to get all the kills here. I did skip ahead quite a bit through the magic of editing, and here's going to be the last fight against the group of headhunters that I need to do before Vincent learns his next limit break. So let's go ahead and eliminate all of these enemies. You can see that counterattack coming in handy, just shooting the guy, but we didn't get quite enough damage on him to kill him outright. Luckily though, that Aqua Lung will be enough to finish all of these enemies no problem, and that battle's over. And you'll see that now that we've hit 40 kills with Vincent, we get the Death Gigas limit break for him. So that's all that we need to learn the level 2 limit break. He only has 4 limit breaks total. He started with Galleon Beast and now he has Death Gigas. We're going to go ahead and set that one, and then we're going to keep grinding out kills in the same area. So once again, through the magic of editing, we're going to skip ahead to the end of that fight, and then we're going to get our reward. You learned Vincent's level 3 limit break by getting 56 more kills with Vincent after you got the 40 that you needed to unlock the Death Gigas limit break. So here we go. This is going to be the 56th kill against this group of enemies, and then we're going to be good to go for learning his 3rd limit break, which in this case is called Hellmasker. So he's gained 2 limit breaks now. It took a total of 96 kills to get to this point, and if we look inside of our limit break menu, we'll see that he has not only Galleon Beast and Death Gigas, but there's level 3 Hellmasker. We're going to go ahead and equip that right now, and then what we need to do is head back into the Highwind, and we're going to fly back to Junon so that we can get aboard our trusty submarine, which will take us back through the water all the way to that cave where we saw Lucrecia, because that's where we're going to get the item that's required to get Vincent his final limit break, and we'll also get his ultimate weapon at the same time. I'll speed up the footage just a little bit, but basically we're just heading toward the northwest. When you get toward this very narrow piece of water here between the shallow water and the land, that's when we're going to go around there and turn toward the left. Right about here we'll go under the water, and we just have to follow the right hand wall around, and then that will take us to the tunnel that we need to get through to go to the open area that will let us dock. Once again, I'll speed up the footage just a little bit as we go through this tunnel, and then we're going to ascend as soon as we get through the tunnel and out into the open area. Now let's go ahead and dock the submarine against the wall and then run back into the cave. We're going to run forward and then interact with the glowy spot on the ground for a short scene. Lucrecia. Received death penalty, received chaos. The first item that we got is called Death Penalty. That is the ultimate weapon for Vincent. It does have quite a bit of attack power and many materia slots, but it offers no growth. It also gets stronger for every enemy that you kill. So if you use Vincent a lot, that is a great weapon for him in time. Also, we got the item called Chaos, so let's go ahead and use that on Vincent, and that will teach us his final limit break called Chaos. And then also once you use that on him, you will get a new trophy called Inner Demons. Honestly, it did not take very long to get to this point. The total time between when we put that first enemy skill materia on Vincent to when we taught him this was 40 minutes. So kind of a short investment just to get all of those kills. And now we're going to head back outside. And this is actually where we're going to end part 13. We've got a lot more good stuff coming up, and we're going to keep making our characters stronger and stronger in the next coming parts, and also take on a lot of side content and get lots of trophies. So I hope you'll join me for that. Make sure you hit that like button if you enjoyed this video, and also comment down below, and be sure to hit that subscribe button to stay up to date with the rest of the series. I'll see you soon for part 14. Until then, thanks for watching and have a good day.